because I made it into a game.
That's dope.
It's so cheap though. It's like, oh, 0.08 ETH, in my mind, it's like, oh, that's cheap. But if you really look at it, that's $350 or whatever that I have the opportunity to earn every single day if I wanted to.
You are an advocate of things being stored permanently so people actually get the file, not just a link to the file.
So yeah, that's why I decided to use ArWeave, because actually I heard about ArWeave a while ago.
You're tuned to the ArCast, where we talk about the blockchain on the ArCast and how your data remains. It's the ArCast, where ArDrive is the topic, censorship-resistant permanence. Yeah, we got it. Hey friends, it's Andrew back with another episode of the ArCast. Happy holidays. We still have the NFT shirt contest happening, so check out one of the upcoming videos for your chance to win one of these fresh shirts. We explained a little bit about it before in the video I made, but basically if you get one of these shirts, it proves that you're an OG adopter. You get to get into events. You get an NFT that mirrors the physical shirt you have in real life, and that's fresh as heck. We have a January bounty coming soon, so check out information on the data bounty. Be sure to join the email list because Anthony drops those email newsletters every month that are super exciting. They catch you up on things you may have missed. We've got an exciting announcement coming, and we had a community call this Wednesday with people from around the world. So thank you all to the drivers. It's just awesome being able to keep it moving with all this flavor. So we have an interview today with a really interesting crypto artist, Stellabelle, who's the OG behind Slothicorn and now Crypto Stellas, which is the project she's promoting. And she uses OpenSea as a way to integrate her art with ArWeave and ArDrive. And so it's a really interesting conversation about the technology, about how she kind of makes fun of the pomposity of the NFT market, which is often ridiculed by people who don't necessarily understand NFTs. But this is someone who's deep in the crypto art world and has been in it for years, has helped try to get people involved and help other artists. And she's just a really great artist and interview subject. So let's get right into it. This is my interview with Stellabelle on the ArCast. All right, friends, welcome to the ArCast. This week, we have a very exciting guest, Stellabelle, who you know from the Crypto Stellas project. And we are talking today about the philosophy behind the blockchain and why you use ArWeave to store your files. But how would you introduce yourself to someone who's discovering your art for the first time?
I've been doing art for most of my adult life and also writing. I've been trying to answer this question for a lot of years. How do we turn our creative pursuits into money? It's one of the most pressing problems of a creative person who the people that write books and the people that follow their creative pursuits over everything else. I've been doing visual art professionally and then doing my own stuff. So I was a graphic artist for many years professionally. And I was always trying to figure out, how can I do my own creative work and make money at it? Because in the legacy world, it's like pretty difficult, right? Most people that that do art, they don't earn a living. I'm interested in the themes of creative freedom and also being honest and using humor to kind of mirror reality, or the way that you see reality. So I do a lot of different kinds of art. I do animations, paintings. I'm talking about digital paintings and digital animation. And I've done videos and all kinds of art that has a lot to do with my laser focus on providing some humor about what's going on in the NFT world that we're all in, that I've been in for 5 years.
Wow.
I founded a Creative Commons crypto art collective. That's like too many C's, but like C in 2017, because I saw a need to help educate artists about crypto. I find that like the technical and the crypto side is easy. Like that part of it is like really straightforward. So I realized I had a knack for explaining complex technical things in a way that people can understand them. So I ended up doing a lot of tutorials for like tech companies and in the blockchain space. So writing and all this kind of stuff. And so that's one of the big reasons I decided to found that crypto art collective, because a lot of the artists coming into the crypto world, they were just completely clueless about wallets and how to keep stuff safe, their keys, and all the technical things seemed to be really confusing. And there was a great need for that. There still is. I'm focused more on my art now. The frustration around what was going on was I was seeing a commercialization and just a mad cash grab. It's still ongoing. I mean, it's still happening. So that's why we're seeing like low quality being inundated with just, absolute crap, right? It's not how I thought it was going to happen. I didn't think that like cereal box art would be popular or anything like that. And so, I mean, I was dazed and like confused. I felt like I had gotten run over by a truck, because here I was in the early days, like trying to figure out what the future was going to hold. And I was like learning how to do augmented reality and, all this like complicated stuff, which I thought we would be going in that direction. And then here we are, mass produced. Like, the algorithms can create the 10,000 NFTs in no time at all. And I just couldn't believe what happened. So I was depressed, actually, for months and months, because I was like, I don't know where I fit into this, because I'm not going to, it's about survival, right? And so I thought, I've always wanted to do a historical collection that teaches people really what went on before all this stuff happened. But I also wanted to make fun of what was happening and also keep documenting everything, because I realized that things change so fast in the crypto space that no one is really documenting things as they're happening. So I have like a really serious interest in examining all the scams and stuff, but there's too many scams now. I actually can't do it. So I picked out a few scams that kind of really stand out, and I made fun of them. So like one of them is the Eternal Beings NFT project, which, it came and went. It was a huge scam almost. I mean, they had the actual art, but the rapper who first tweeted about it, he deleted his tweet like 2 hours later, probably after he collected his money.
Lil Uzi Vert, because he'd had that album that was called Eternal Awake.
Yes.
He was like promoting his record, but then he decided not to. Was that it?
Well, I kind of, I looked into this because I kind of started seeing it on Twitter. He doesn't know. I don't think Lil Uzi Vert knows anything about NFTs. This is my guess.
Right.
And so he didn't know. All he was just like, probably like, yeah, let's do it. Because they said they would pay him money, I'm sure.
Okay.
I never got it confirmed, but he's used to just doing whatever he wants. And that's what the developers of that project said. They're like, he's a tier 1 celebrity. He doesn't keep stuff up on his Twitter page for long.
Yeah. Okay. Whatever.
So I think that he just probably was like dipping in and then dipped out and thought he can just do whatever he wants because he's a celebrity. That comes with the turf. There's not a lot of loyalty once you get up into certain levels of fame. People do what they want because they're famous and rich, right? They don't have this sense of, well, I've got to be loyal to this person because I said I would do this. They don't have that.
But you've been part of making a community and holding people accountable. So
yeah.
For you to be commenting on this sort of like mainstream inundation of the blockchain world with your art, I think it's really fascinating. And I think it's almost like Warhol talking about art is what you can get away with. Like, okay, sure, but there's got to be some sort of accountability. And so you're kind of trying to bring that as the corporations enter the Web3 space. What would you say about that?
I'm almost like the art critic who's kind of on the sidelines. I'm making fun of whatever I want. And that's it's like I'm allowing myself that freedom, because when you make fun of stuff, it's kind of like I made fun of Damien Hirst as well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's a very famous. I didn't even know who he was until he entered the NFT space. But the more I read about him, the less I like that guy. So I thought, oh, he's a good target. Let's fucking do him too, Of course, he probably doesn't know anything about NFT technology or, blockchain or hardware wallets. So what happened with that team that released Damien Hirst's NFTs? Well, you know who Damien Hirst is, by the way? He makes these polka dot.
Yeah.
It's like shit art. Come on. Let's get fucking real.
He did the shark, that like thing where in London, it was like a cut up shark in like 4 different aquariums. I don't know if you saw that.
No, I didn't see that. That team, they launched the Damien Hirst NFTs on the Palm blockchain, which is, I hadn't even heard of it before. And the buyers, they could not store their NFTs on their hardware wallets. And they paid a lot of money for this stuff. I mean, it's like,
right.
God. So I saw that all on Twitter and it was like, God, this is so stupid. We can't even store, we can't even use our hardware wallets. And we bought all these NFTs from Damien Hirst. I thought that was funny.
Right.
So they had to jump through all these hoops, send it back through the bridges of blah, blah, just send it through this bridge and then send it over there and then back over here and make sure you have enough gas fees. And it was like it was a disaster in my opinion. So I thought, oh, disaster. I'm going to document that one too. And it's like, I'm having a fucking field day. There's so much. There's so many vast fields of this. And sort of on the flip side of that, I also have some of the historical figures who no one knows about in some of the more like religious themes and stuff. And I'm using religion I'm an atheist, but I use religious themes because people understand them immediately. You don't have to explain anything. And so I thought, so now it's turning into something else. And I want to make sure people understand that I'm collecting the collectors. It's reversed. I've reversed this thing. It's way more elaborate than people understand. They think it's like some, thing that's just, oh, that's another art project. They don't understand that I've hand selected people. And what I'm doing is creating a group of these, like, I'm filtering through the riffraff. And I'm finding the people that we can like work together on more stuff. So it's there's so many different levels to it. Like there's a game level to it. How I release things. It's either a puzzle you have to work or you have to be paying attention, because I just released one, like I ninja dropped one today. And Gun Punks, this guy that has been wanting one, he got it because he's just paying attention. He turned on his notifications because I place a ninja emoji on Twitter when I drop one. And dropping one means it's 0.08 ETH, which is really cheap for these paintings because a lot of them take up to 10 hours. So it's an extraordinary deal because, look, I've been studying how this formula works. Why do people, line up to get all of these crap art? Because it's cheap. Okay. It's like we're programmed to just take the cheap thing because we think, well, we could flip it and make money. It's like the profit motive is just such a strong drive in everyone. And so I'm using that formula for my own project. And so I don't have to sell art anymore. It solves a lot of my problems because I hate selling stuff. I hate it, actually. It's so different. It's so, I get attached to my art.
Yeah.
And then it's like, I don't want to go out and sell it. So I've devised this ingenious way where people have to work for it. It's either you fall into 4 categories. You're rich and you just want to buy one outright, which is fine because some people have more money than time. You have more time than money, and you're a smart person and you want to do work. You want to write articles. You want to do something, make a puzzle or solve them, that fits. I have a writing contest right now that's up. So basically, I just released a puzzle yesterday and it got solved. So a puzzle solver got one and now is in the game. And the writing contest is up on November 20th. So whoever writes the best article, they're the ones who get that NFT. And so it's so tightly controlled. There's just, it sells out instantly because I made it into a game.
That's dope. It's
so cheap though. It's like, 0.08 ETH, in my mind, it's like, that's cheap. But if you really look at it, that's $350 or whatever that I have the opportunity to earn every single day if I wanted to.
You are an advocate of things being stored permanently so people actually get the file, not just a link to the file.
So yeah, that's why I decided to use ArWeave, because actually I heard about ArWeave a while ago. I've used EOS, Telos. I used to work in the Dash community. So I heard about ArWeave. I kind of was hearing this float around in some circles because a lot of us were trying to solve this problem of, well, what if the centralized server, there's been a lot of art projects that have already gone defunct, and the collectors, they're losing the art because the artist, we artists, sometimes we're not the most organized people. I lose shit all the time. Like I can't find stuff. So I needed a cloud storage solution that doesn't rely on a centralized system. And I've been aware of this. I invested back a long time ago in all these different, I remember all the buzz about, decentralized storage, it's peer-to-peer, storage of data. And there's been so many different projects that's tried to do it. And I read up a little bit, and then I found another project that was using ArWeave, and it just had that kind of, people think of it in good terms, like what ArWeave is doing is a good solution. And so then I looked into it, and I had to ask another artist, and he used it. And so I was like, hey, how do I do this? Because I could not find ArDrive at all. There was no tutorials or anything on the internet I could find for an artist. There was tutorials on how to back up the web and all that shit, but nothing geared towards artists and how to store it. So I had to kind of figure stuff out. Getting the ArWeave tokens was a fucking nightmare. It's like, Jesus, get it on. Can't you just get it on Uniswap? I guess it's not on Ethereum, so you can't get it on there. That was the hardest thing. And it's gonna, I had to KYC this fucking Chinese exchange called Gate.io. I had to wait days. This whole process of getting onto ArWeave took like the better part of a week to figure it all out.
Once you had it, linking with OpenSea, is that hard to do?
Well, I actually just put all the links in the description to the ArWeave. But what's funny is I went on this discussion with a bunch of other people, and they said, oh, well, your hash, that hash isn't any good because that's not really the image hash. They said, no, you don't have the IPFS hash, which is the image itself. Do you see what I mean? And I was like, well, how do I fucking find that? I guess it was contained in the image.
Yeah.
Okay. So here's the other thing that I noticed about the other problem that with doing things on Ethereum. So after I mint on OpenSea, I mint the art. It's there. Then I have to pay another gas fee to freeze the metadata. And I didn't have to pay to mint because I'm doing OpenSea open collections. You don't have to. But so when I was accepting offers and freezing the metadata, those are two different gas fees. I don't want to tell you how much I was spending. It was ridiculous. So what I started kind of doing is I feel so bad when I have to pay all that gas that I have everything backed up, all those links to the ArWeave art contained in the description. So that metadata does stay with the art that people buy. So they're going to have it. So like, let's say in the case that OpenSea went out of business or something, then the people that own them, they could actually restore the art, because if ArWeave's still around, I mean, because all these things are shaky, in my opinion. I don't know how stable ArWeave is really. Like, for all of my experiences with it, I like paying for it just a little bit at a time. And because cloud storage, I find the whole thing with subscriptions and passwords and all that shit, it's such a pain. I like things open like that. I feel like it's a way better solution for sure. And if they could figure out how to get ArWeave tokens on a regular exchange where I don't have to jump through 1,000 hoops.
Have you found that your audience appreciates that you are like unique with how you store and market this new project? Do they appreciate the ArWeave thing?
Well, there's some Bitcoiners that, like this guy Not So Fast, who follows me, and he noticed that right away. He was like, yeah, and this art is being stored on ArWeave, the perma web is what they call it. And the fact that I took an extra step, like I'm paying for all this, that's the thing too, is that I decided to, that I'm making an investment in that part of it. For people, I think that anyone that takes any extra steps, because it was bugging me. I hadn't done anything before, meaning I hadn't taken any extra steps, and then taking an extra step, it feels good. And also it's helping me because sometimes, I lose track of how I name. I'm terrible at my naming conventions and my files and shit. It's such a mess because I change the title sometimes from the working art file.
Right.
So I've had to use ArWeave, like I'm starting to use it as my own resource. And so I feel like this is a good resource for me because all the links are then on OpenSea and I have everything sort of organized better. And I can find my art. Like I had to re-download my art from ArWeave once because I couldn't remember what I named my file.
That's cool.
And so now it's becoming good because I don't use other solutions like cloud. I hate using the cloud. I don't know why. I just despise it. I despise logging in.
Right.
So to not have to log in to get everything. I love that.
Because you truly understand the technology, right?
I do kind of, except for, this IPFS hash thing was driving me nuts because I was talking to a developer and they're like, well, that transaction hash is just a transaction hash. It's not the IPFS hash. So it's not really the actual art because apparently, if you get a hash that's the IPFS hash, then that means the data of the image is contained within the hash, right?
Right.
I think you can get that same information on when you click on the view, ArWeave view, you get the same link, I think. Now I established a new routine with this and I start something new every 3 months. I think I classify as having some kind of like ADD or something, but because I can't really function in the same way for long periods of time. And so this project was like, I decided to dedicate 1 year to the same project just to see if, I can do it. And I think I can do it because I already established kind of a routine with it. But the thing is, my topics are always changing.
Right.
And I never know what I'm going to do because it's based on a lot of stuff that's happening. And so it's really based on just the absurdity of what's going on, which I find very interesting. Like, I like even the weird scams and stuff. I mean, it's just like, I don't like when people get scammed, but I like to watch the human behavior part of it.
Right.
How people just kind of like forget about everything in 2 days. They're like, it's the crypto thing moves so fast that you cannot, it's like, okay, what's next? You know, like the next day there's some other big thing happening.
And what's interesting to me about your work is that you are documenting this for perpetuity. I guess I'm wondering, do you have any like specific internet memes that you've enjoyed remixing the most, or that like you just like find you're drawn to, but you can't explain why when you're doing this work?
The apes are sort of a big topic right now. I've got a lot of them. I'm murdering an ape. I don't like the ape culture and how it's okay. And this is why, because the original internet meme culture as defined by the Rare Pepe community. In fact, the Rare Pepe community was the first NFT creative group. I call it the creative group because everyone was creating and sharing and then, selling amongst themselves. And then the culture switched from creating to then an algorithm creates 10,000.
Right.
And then now it's just a culture of buying. So it shifted from a culture that organically grows over time around a certain meme to then just something spit out overnight. And I just thought, this is backwards. The whole creating part was completely removed.
Right.
And it became about buying, status, and ego. That's what I'm attacking viciously. I'm attacking that because I think it's stupid. That's why. I don't believe in that. I've never believed in status buys, like buying a Rolex watch.
Yeah.
I'm kind of a pragmatist. I'm practical, right? Like I'm the person that buys one pair of tennis shoes. And like originally it was a movement of like solving problems that creators had. And then it sort of devolved into, oh, buy this ape, you'll get instant friends and you'll get status. So spend $50,000 or however much. And like the CryptoPunks too. When the CryptoPunks launched in like 2017 for free, mind you, it wasn't a sold out project. Like no, not too many people really cared that much about them. And it wasn't until this guy Pranksy, this is how I think it went down and why it happened the way it did. Pranksy started buying them up. And whenever you have, it's like human nature. Whenever you have someone who's now investing in something, well, they're going to start talking about it. Pranksy was very influential. He has a lot of money. He has a lot of power over marketing. He's a good marketer, right?
Right.
That's how CryptoPunks started. It wasn't until all that started that people started caring. No one gave a crap really in the beginning of that. So that's kind of like when you start to realize that, you're going down deep in the rabbit hole. And then, I spent a lot of time thinking about this whole thing. Why do some artists get famous and their stuff sells for millions of dollars and then other people don't? And it's maybe they're a better artist, for example. Why does this happen?
It's marketing, right?
Right. And it's someone that has invested in them, right? I mean, the same thing happened with Beeple. Beeple was not a crypto artist. He's a fiat, like he doesn't even believe in crypto. So actually Metapurse owns some of my art. I did a bunch of art in 2020. And that's why I went full time into the whole thing. And I was just doing what the other artists do. I was doing one of ones that would take me hours and hours and hours to finish something. And then I would release it and then just pray that someone would buy it. And I think what I'm doing now is I'm influencing culture. So that's why I decided to do puzzles and things that are make it hard for people to get a Crypto Stella. And I also bought one of my pieces back for 1.1 ETH.
Oh, wow.
That's a whole, I went on a little rant. The video is at the top of my pinned message. You're welcome to use any of that information, but I went into all the details. I'm thinking I need to make a video for each piece because there's a lot of stuff in there. And the piece that I bought, rebought myself, is called Black Mirror. And it deals with this phenomenon of maybe a really good artist, and they're, in the future, Christie's auction house gives you prompts, sent through your little implant that you have in your head. This is the dark scenario of like where it could lead to, which is you only create art that that Christie's and all the rich people will buy because you want to earn money. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what happens. I mean, I found myself getting sucked into that trap too, because it's kind of like, do I want to eat or do I want to starve? Well, I want to eat. And then it's like you go down this horrible path of you slowly stop being honest. You start sucking up to the rich collectors just to get on their good side. You stop being yourself because you're afraid of being outcasted. Well, thank God there's an outcast, Robness. I'm really grateful to him because he is like the ultimate rebellious person. Like, he's crazy, but he provides me with kind of like this assurance that, oh, I can be myself and not be outcasted. I mean, he's an outcast. Like, he didn't get the sales of the other artists who, like, oh, I got to have a X copy, I got to have one of these Trevor Jones art, or I got to have, this stuff. Well, 2 of my pieces are priced at $1 million, and I'm never changing that price.
That's awesome.
So either I die with them and my daughter inherits whatever, or someone buys them. And I decided to do that because I can decide to do that.
I think a lot of these topics, the philosophy of it is this like sort of fierce, autonomous respect for your creative process and an understanding of this world and your place in it.
Yeah.
Stellabelle, where can people follow you and where can they support your art?
The main place to follow me is on Twitter. So I have my own Twitter is at Stellabelle, which is STELLABELLE. And then my project has its own Twitter because I need to separate me, me from my project, because that's at Crypto Stellas. So that's at, and then CRYPTOSTELLAS. And my project is wildly successful from the get-go. I have been blessed with some of the most amazing collectors who appeared out of nowhere. I have some high level collectors that I haven't mentioned because I can't. Like, there's one that said, I can't. He's anonymous. So, but another one I have is helping me in so many different ways. Like, and I have Ezra who helps run my Discord. I'm just saying that I have so many amazing collectors. It is unreal how, I think it's because I'm filling a void in this area. I think that people that are smart are having a tough time trying to figure out where to put their money.
Right.
Because there's so much fluff, it does take some work to find my project because, I mean, I'm slowly gaining some kind of prestige though, because as the puzzle solvers find it, then they begin to speak of it highly. I'm doing a selective process, on purpose. I don't want to be lumped in with the gigantic amount of NFT projects. I want it to be so exclusive that once you get in, it's like, you've accomplished something. That's that's how I want it to be. And that's how it is. That's how it is. So
you're doing awesome work. And thank you for your time. And thank you for coming on the show. And we'll be in touch. And I'll let you know when this goes up, when this goes online.
Great.
Thank you, Stellabelle. That was a great conversation. We're going to be posting more about how you can integrate ArDrive with OpenSea if any of you are NFT creators who want to get into this game. So stay tuned for that. Thanks again for everyone who supported the ArCast this year. Happy holidays, and we'll see you next year. Remember to know before you stow your data forever. I'm Andrew. Thanks for listening. Drew.